I've been making music in the St. Louis area for a couple decades now, and mostly I was working online with various projects. And when I started becoming interested in doing some local performances and actually playing out live and doing some live shows, pretty quickly it was suggested to me that I meet Nathan Cook. Nathan Cook is kind of a well-known name in the St. Louis underground music scene, and not only is he a great artist in and of himself, I found, he also helps to facilitate other artists in their quest to gain an audience and to find their place in this world. So I'd like to spend some time talking with and about Nathan Cook. St. Louis-based multidisciplinary sound artist, visual artist, and graphic designer Nathan Cook's performance work often considers the acoustic and spatial qualities of physical settings as he utilizes sound as a transient, duration-based medium that encourages extended and focused listening. Cook believes this approach fosters patience, concentration, and introspection. His work is also typically concerned with proximity, geometry, mysticism, psychodynamics, identity, and the primeval. Cook has been on the board of directors with New Music Circle, the St. Louis based nonprofit presenter of avant garde music founded in 1959, for the past 5 years. It's a wonderful organization that lets us bring amazing national and international artists to St. Louis that typically would not perform here. We just celebrated the 60-year anniversary of the organization last season, says Cook. You've been around in the St. Louis scene for a number of years. Is that correct? How long have you been living in St. Louis?
Moved here from Springfield, Missouri about 12 years ago,
Okay.
2007.
Okay. And when you moved here, did you get started with music right away, or did it take a while? Or
I think probably within the first year or so, I had just been attending a lot of concerts and events and meeting people and checking out a lot of performances. So within a year or two, then I started,
started getting involved?
yeah, performing myself.
Your own works.
Yeah.
And so and we just saw last night you perform your own music, your own compositions for one thing, and you also not only do you do your own music, you're also you help with other artists. You have, among other things, Bruxism is one thing, yes, which is, could you explain that for us?
Yeah, it's a concert series that started with Tiffany Minks at A-Pop Records about 5 years ago. And it was, the idea behind it was to have a regular series for all the amazing experimental music that was going on locally in St. Louis and the region. Um, and so I wanted to have something that was a little more consistent because sometimes it would be very irregular. Um, so wanted to have that and also be somewhat of an introduction for the uninitiated to basically bring new audience, new people to shows instead of just having the same group of people.
So it sounds like you may feel that there was a little bit of a lack for the musicians as well as the audience in St. Louis in terms
Yeah.
of that Bruxism helps fill by providing that. And I would agree from what I've seen. The show I was at had 80, 100 people at least, or not 80, 100, but 80 or 100 people, which is a lot for that venue. And you do also a tape label as well, which can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, that actually started in 2004 in Springfield, Missouri, and at that point it was CDRs. I had been collaborating with a couple groups. One was Jan, and the other was the current group. We used to meet down in a studio on a weekly basis, and for a full year, and just record everything.
Cool.
And so after that, we thought, what should we do with these recordings? So we started self-releasing them on CDR. By the time I was in St. Louis, about 2007, 2008, I had switched over to releasing tapes, which was a vehicle for my own work as a sound artist, and to publish St. Louis artists that I had met that were doing really exceptional work.
Interesting. So I didn't know that. So that in a way, the use of tapes kind of has a little bit to do maybe with kind of the music concrete whole thing of having pre-recorded analog recordings.
Definitely.
Cool. And again, if people may not know this, but and in your performance last night, you used tapes in your live performances, installations, everything, or not necessarily everything, but quite a few things.
Yeah.
Cool. As far as I know, I've seen some shows locally, and I don't think I've seen maybe any that use tapes. So it is quite possible that you're the only one in St. Louis that does that. But maybe not, but it seems that way.
There are several.
There are a few. Good. You would know that. That's true. But, let's see. Oh, and in fact, I was going to segue into, the role of emotion in your show. I mean, that's kind of a weird question, I know, but could you explain that? Is that possible to explain that? Or
Yeah, certainly. I think it's actually an important point because a lot of my work, especially for live performance work, it has to do with the transmutation of negative energy within myself. So the use of repetition and almost getting into trance-like states is part of that process, using that form as a catalyst to transmute that the destructive negative energy into something that's either, if not positive, at least benign. So that's sort of been part of the ritualistic aspect of it over a long-term course of performing those work.
Indeed, and I'm going to include that footage in this documentary so people can see that. My impression at the end of that show was the voice, but you were using an instrument, and between that and your voice and the way you expressed it, it was almost like I was hearing a voice from somewhere else, like from beyond almost. Do you feel that maybe emotion is a bit like that? We're not sure where it comes from, but then suddenly, there it is. You can sense that, summon it up or bring it to, or do you feel that way too? Or?
Oh, I like to hear that, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the sort of mystical or magical sort of aspect of the work that is deeply personal and very emotional and psychological.
And as well, maybe why having heard a piece like that, it could be kind of cleansing, maybe, and to experience that, hopefully for you and for us as well. Well, good. Those are my questions, and thank you very much, Mr. Nathan Cook of St. Louis, for taking the time.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm going to do a very short introduction piece for Heavy Mud. Heavy pauses for a little bit.
Heavy mud. Heavy mud.